It says part being close to being done.
That's the good news.
Oh,
Is there a motion? Uh-huh.
On the ground.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. You can, I'm gonna stop even looking, Kevin. I trust you.
Not the last one, so.
No. Is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
At least.
This is a good point. On a college campus in a state where it's legal, you know. Yeah.
No,
Okay, is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hands. It is unanimous. I'm assuming your hand is raised. No oath. No oath. No oath. Yeah. We haven't had anything to even discuss for quite some time here.
there was one that had a voter intent, but it was mooted by the fact they didn't have an oath.
Yeah. Right.
And we had some where it didn't have a signature, but it also didn't have an oath. And then, yeah, and then we had one where the voter printed it out, signed it. They had a regular mail-in envelope, so they could have just signed the back of the envelope, but instead they took the Rube Goldberg route. They printed it out, they signed it, they taped it to the envelope as a trifold, so you couldn't read what they had signed. And then eventually, when we untaped it, we accepted their back.
No oath.
Okay, is there a motion?
I moved that we rejected it.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor? It is unanimous.
Cleverly addressed to the voter drop box at Albert Einstein High School.
It's addressed to the Dropbox?
Yeah. But no, that's the second one that we had addressed. You know, I'd be inclined to do that. Dear drop.
And so how did we get it?
They put it
Could
in
it-
the Dropbox.
Because it was, well, but the receipt date looks like that's November 3rd.
Yeah, but presumably they looked up where the nearest Dropbox was.
Yes.
So why are we, this is without the oath.
Instead of having an oath.
Oh, okay, but in other words,
Well, I just thought it was kind of clever.
right. So in other words, if they'd had the oath, we would have accepted it.
Right.
But they addressed it, because somebody in the office has to then put it in the Dropbox. And did, right? And did. Wow.
Crazy.
I'm gonna turn your camera off.
Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Okay, the camera is off.
Identifying mark.
Wow. Multiple identifying marks.
I reject it. I move we reject the ballot grounds of identifying mark.
Twice.
Oh, I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? It is unanimous, rejected for 2 signatures on the ballot. Yes, ma'am.
Outside our building.
Correct.
The building and drive. Yeah. The mailing and.
Sure.
Do we accept that?
I believe so. It may be that we tell people that they can just drop it in the Dropbox, but if somebody were to say, no, I want to give it to you, then we'll just take it.
Okay.
No,
We do not have a Dropbox inside the building.
no. One
The
outside.
one outside, we have staff inside the building who take it. Confusion by whom?
You and I are trying to nail down something.
The one that's in the parking lot.
So that was answered. So the one that was addressed to the Einstein Dropbox,
Yeah,
did that come to the office and then somebody put it in the Dropbox? So
No.
I suspect
No.
the voter wrote the address for Einstein and then went to Einstein, put it in the Dropbox, and then we picked it up at that Dropbox.
well, or there's no postage on it. Because I was gonna say, they also could have mailed it to an Einstein, and someone in the office could have put it in the Dropbox. But you're right, they probably just put it in the Dropbox.
Probably just put it in the Dropbox there on the third one.
Right. Right, but we don't think it was a staff member, because Kevin's right, it didn't have postage on it. Chances are the voter just wrote that on the envelope.
yeah, I don't think it's crazy.
Well, if it gets lost,
You know,
yeah. Yeah,
No oath on this ballot.
okay, is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
You signed oath.
Okay. No signed oath. Is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. It is rejected for lack of a signed oath.
We signed up.
Is there a motion?
Rejected, Mr. President, on the grounds of.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hands. It is unanimous.
Okay. Let me get the next group here.
Okay, thank you.
Tradition will stand.
I believe, but I don't know that we know when the last day is yet. So, right. Not to mention that we're gonna get an assessment of the rejects, but we're not gonna have a better. We're gonna have a better idea tomorrow, not because of what Ami and I are doing, but because of the returns from today. That's gonna give us a better idea as of what lies ahead. That and whatever is being done back in the office today, because provisionals are a constant. They're happening every day, whether we're here or not. And there's a lot of them.
Wow.
We'll take this as a group motion, 2 envelopes with no ballots.
Okay, is there a motion?
Check both of these.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
No oath.
Okay, is there a motion?
Check it out.
Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hands. It is unanimous. Rejected for lack of an oath.
No ballot.
Oh, lovely. So, certificate of assistance. Okay, is there a second? All in favor, raise your hands. Rejected for lack of a ballot. It's unanimous. I have seen, some of what's on the roof.
It looks like a cranberry farm.
Yeah, I saw the garden you were saying. Yeah, on the roof, yes.
Did it have a cranberry tin?
You signed it.
No signed oath. Is there a motion?
Then I rejected that.
Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
You signed out.
I moved and rejected on the grounds of no signed up.
Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous, rejected for lack of a signed oath.
Alice.
Is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
Oh, okay. I remember this. I think Al was next to me with this one. Voter intent. Remember this one?
Oh my gosh, a voter intent question. A voter intent question.
Okay.
Right.
So it's in Board of Education at Large, whether it's an overvote or
Which precinct is this from?
Yeah, good one.
0723.
Okay, so we got. Board of Education at, oh, that is an interesting one. Okay, that is what it looks like. I'll go this way this time. Board of Education at large.
Normally is a 50% rule, but it started to, and then realized.
Okay, is there a motion?
President, I move, we can see what's gonna happen. I say we accept this as a vote for Rita Montoya.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. It's be counted as a vote for Rita Montoya. Is there any discussion? I'll just say it looks to me like the voter made a mistake and then was more emphatic for the other and that I agree with the motion. Okay, let's do this one by roll call vote. Daniel, Ami, Margie, Diane, Tina, Alex, and I vote aye. It is unanimous. No, at this point, I think that discussion was probably held many days ago. If there would have been one, I don't know.
Was this held over?
No,
Today?
no, not to my knowledge. That ballot was not held over from a previous day.
No, Alex and I saw it this morning. I was the one who reported.
Okay,
They wanted to know what it was.
right.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, because I've.
And the answer is yes, that was appropriate for referral.
So we said refer.
The fact that it's unanimous does not change that.
No O.
That one was-
Okay, is there a motion?
Check.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? It is unanimous. I'm assuming if you move it that you're for it. Yes, yeah. I mean, it is possible. It is possible. Unlikely. Especially on that. If it was on something more controversial, I might have made you raise your hand.
Then we wouldn't, then we'd have a roll call.
Yes, exactly. That's true. That is true.
Okay.
I also assume if I say something's unanimous and it's not, someone will say so.
No O.
Okay, is there a motion?
What is that?
No O.
I move we rejected it.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. Looks like they started to duplicate it and then realized there was no oath. No oath. Okay, no oath.
Rejected on the grounds of.
Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
Okay, let's see what's next.
I'm glad we all ate before six.
Me too. Although I need a snack now.
That's fine. Frankly, I'm right where you are.
Yeah, maybe we should take a snack break.
Yeah, depending on how it's in back.
Well, but the time to do it is while we're waiting for them.
I just realized. Why I spend so much time out of the sea. Even when it calls me. This thing is very.
You brought it.
I know, I mean, it would be, and the thing is, the alternative is real. Yes.
Okay.
Much, at least this is only. The other one.
I think my niece is gonna be in there.
Girl.
Yeah, when you said you were having the family over for Thanksgiving, I kind of assumed that included your daughter.
And give it a fan.
Lisa, thank you again for your help this morning. Appreciate it.
It's not that much though.
What's the issue?
That's the one that said.
Oh,
Question mark,
yep.
voter intent. The only thing that was in there was the vote for Montoya.
Not the other, okay, I'll take this one.
Wanna take that?
Yep.
You want this as well?
No, this is, they're looking for this batch.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Okay, thank you.
Kevin, is this a good time for us to have a snack break? Okay. I'm declaring a 5-minute reset. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have everybody. Great. So we're now back in order, and Kevin, we're back to you.
Sure, so these are all pending voters, which means they were required to provide some ID in order to go ahead and consummate their, no. To go ahead and go from pending to being registered. They did not provide what's required to go ahead and social security number, driver's license, or anything else.
And that would have been required by the 10th day after the election.
And pending is a status control why.
You have failed to provide adequate documentation to confirm, to complete your voter registration.
Which would include proof of residency.
Driver's license number, social security number, any of
What
those.
goes in your hand there? No,
They're all valid.
So those are ballots that were
A lot
provided.
of them went out with that on the back. These required, identification required.
Because they had
They had registered, but they had,
online.
or they had submitted a paper version, but whatever they had submitted, they had not submitted either social or driver's.
And if they had submitted a social or driver's license with their ballot, we would have counted it. But they did not.
And Michelle, these are all people that we reach out to and
Yeah,
say,
it's gonna,
you're in a pending status. You have until the 10th day after the election to go ahead and satisfy.
Okay. I can't hear you. Right, I think that's what Kevin is trying to tell us, that we can have a motion.
The only way you'd be able to confirm it is to be actually in front of ND voters to go ahead and check their pending status.
Right. So is there a motion?
sure. President, I move we reject this badge on the grounds the voter has failed to provide sufficient identification.
Okay, is there,
I
well,
second.
it's not necessarily identification, it might be proof of residence.
Okay,
So
and,
they have not provided sufficient information.
okay, missing information.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
Okay. So the next is, if you want, we can just go down the line. These are all no signature.
Oh, my.
No signature, meaning on the oath?
Correct.
Yeah, why don't we? Just to be sure, just to be sure.
Should we go this way this time?
Whatever you want. I'm fine with that as long as it keeps moving. As long as, well, if you want to, otherwise you can pass them.
So these would have never made it to the canvas until after the cure period had ended, and then they wouldn't get put into a batch because they never were cured.
This one, we don't look inside.
You have to look inside to see whether there's. For the web deliveries, you have to look inside.
And to be clear, it doesn't matter how legible the signature is, it is just a signature. Okay,
The problem with the web delivery process.
but a lot of these are not web delivery.
No, it's true.
I mean, we have quite a few who are not signing the back of the envelope either.
The problem with the web delivery. That you don't have as much of it as you do with. It's a bigger problem than you do with this, which is this becomes readily apparent once we tear the privacy sleeve off.
Right,
It comes back to the board.
right. But for the other ones, we have to do more work to find them.
You know, the web deliveries would have come in here at some point earlier in the canvas. They would have tried to cure it by reaching out to the voter, and now they're coming back because the voter is.
Unless, I mean,
Make my vote.
well, like, when we'll pass the, listen, we're gonna pass the rubber band. at the
Well,
end of the
I
year,
was,
so we can back
I
check.
was gonna say, make my, sign your oath. It's the correct response, right? Right.
Actually, Daniel, the official custodian of the rubber band. At the end of the line.
Thank you for the responsibility. That ends.
Unless Margie would like to go ahead and take
No,
the
that's fine.
responsibility.
Well, you know what they say about the the awesome responsibilities of the vice president. Okay, okay.
Without breaking the faith.
Yeah, it's,
That's an interesting question. Do we have, yeah, what's the envelope?
have something.
Yes, no, I understand. We have to decide how it fits with everything we've done so far.
So this is, I'm not gonna give the individual's name, but he has completed a certificate of a person assisting a voter, but he has given his name.
And his signature, roughly?
Your camera off?
No, but it's about to be.
That's the sister.
That's
No.
someone at Leisure World that signs.
No, what you're saying
signs
is,
something else.
right, what you're saying is that the voter
Sign the
signed the
of
certificate of assistance with their own name.
Didn't we approve that?
Twice, I believe, at least twice. Okay, it's been,
No,
and- an oath of the certificate of person assisting the voter, which is a partial oath of,
we
yeah.
agreed to accept.
and which has been accepted by the board prior to this year as well.
Can I ask a question? Are these the same? Does this also contain the same stipulations that are on an oath?
Not all of it, but almost all.
What's missing? I mean, I guess it's not gonna matter because we're on record as having accepted it anyway. Oh, right.
Steam on it.
Well, the one thing it's not going to include is I do not intend to vote by another means because the sister isn't voting in the first place. But at this stage, if this voter had attempted to vote by another means, we would know. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept this ballot. Is there any discussion? Okay, Margie votes aye, Daniel, aye, Ami votes aye, Diane. Tina. Yeah, Alex. And I vote aye.
Give this-
I would have had trouble with my own name, Alex, so.
Call me Daniel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can see how I could be confused. You guys look so similar. So.
Absolutely. You got the same hairstyle. You got the same hairstyle, Dan.
No, I think,
Just saying,
I think Alex's hairstyle is closer to mine than to Daniel's.
Oh.
But,
There's similarities.
yeah, it's similar. We all have similarities. Yes, we all have similarities. Yeah. Yeah. So what are these? Continuation of the previous batch, which was the no signatures, right?
Makes sense. It's just that- and nobody else-
It's substantially similar.
And
To the what?
that's what that-
The board house.
There's no edict involved. It was a vote of the board after advice of council.
It is.
I'm sorry? I don't think so. They- There was no proclamation that says that we had to do it from henceforth.
We know what other boards do. The West is the way it is without the other voters. And we want to know that. Equal protection, although it's still in their constitution.
I would be glad to have the other boards ask us what we do and have them do what we do. That would be equal protection.
I just want to make sure we're all doing the same thing.
I'm quite sure we're not. But I have no idea what the others are doing. What do we got?
It's what respect that is what.
That's what,
Oh, okay,
that was the part you were looking.
thank you, thank you.
They're voting for a statewide candidate, so it's getting different, they might be getting different votes depending on how boards feel. I have a problem with that.
Don't you think that happens with voter intent?
Yes,
I think there's,
it does.
no,
I think it happens on lots of things.
but this is a bright line that's being blurred.
I think that you have declared it to be a bright line. You know. Because one could argue that there's a bright line as to what happens when, in lots of situations that we have as a board reach certain conclusions. And of course, and let me say, talk about the protection, Diane. You were asking all these questions after we've already approved some. So where's the equal protection for this particular voter compared to the ones we've already approved? Okay. You're very concerned about what other jurisdictions are doing, but we have already acted upon at least 2 other ballots in this particular circumstance in this county where we have allowed for those to be included. What's the equal protection for this voter compared to those other ones if we were to change our mind now?
Well, I think,
Send the still forth and again.
and two wrongs don't make a right. If we catch it at some point,
I don't think there's any wrong involved, but that's another story.
I would analogize to that.
Well, I would just say that if that's your view, that's how I feel about other jurisdictions not following our lead. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
The staff is going to look at all these things that were, yeah. Rest of it.
Go ahead. So how did someone, I guess they looked through this? I guess, okay.
That will be in terms of which may I use with the open.
We put the wrong thing. Person required it. But they don't have to. For valid, I don't know what they were thinking. Someone late at night. Not paying attention.
That's the valid ballot?
Someone who printed their name and their signature block on the tip.
Okay. Printed name can be a signature.
They say we will keep them.
Cursive.
That's the beginning of a new group with H.
Does the rubber band go?
No, just when Daniel gets done. With David's last fact, that'll be the end of that.
Okay. So the rubber band should be with this.
No, you've got it. It's okay. But when they're organized in this fashion by letter, is by the last name of the voter? And how does this differ from the no signatures we've gotten before? They just haven't been batched yet? When you get to the end of what you've got so far, that's the batch for the rubber band. I'm on a new one now.
What's this new one?
It's the same, but different part of the alphabet. As you will see, they have labeled the names. Otherwise, it is the same issue. I wonder if we have voters who think that because it has a printed name, when you print it out, that it's already signed. Since they're so used to not signing things.
It looks like it would be helpful. Have like a little sign.
Sign here, yeah,
We do that for provisionals and polling places
right?
with mixed results.
Election time.
We used to get ballots periodically that had the oaths on the back of the ballot. I don't remember seeing any of those recently.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
You said, oh, they used to print it out?
They used to print it out that way.
That's right.
Well, you save paper that way.
Just follow by your vote, but.
I'm sorry? The ability to print on both sides? I haven't bought a printer in a long time, so.
I have to stop mine so that it doesn't coincide.
Right, mine too. I'm not sure I'd buy, yeah, I'm not sure that I'd buy one that doesn't
Doesn't
Yeah,
apply.
seriously.
print on both sides.
I'm very. When you're waiting for that. And all of them.
So maybe in the future, we should like divide the batches into 3 groups, because it doesn't necessarily take 7 of us to find the
I
signatures.
was gonna say that, but You're here till 6 anyway.
This is true,
Might as well do.
but we could have been, we could have been doing other things.
I don't want you getting in any trouble.
I have plenty of things to do that will not get me in trouble. I'm drafting the press release on the certification.
Not a good sign when the 1 o'clock referrals roll right into 5.
So what is the issue with this one? Now that I just said that I'm not gonna find one that was already signed, I think I may have found one that was already signed.
On go there because they can give you the present.
Without paying $75. Yeah. Oh my God. Look at what they did. And
They didn't see this.
those waves, those women that passed it out, land and not. Yes, we go ahead, why would they let But man, my guy said, oh my God, you would think, you would think that they modify the guy. You make it on the wall, doing this. Right up on the office. This also has me, you're going to think.
Yes, it does.
Okay. We have a Thursday. Man. How late? I mean, Kevin's going to. Yeah, I wasn't on the table anyway. So we're not ready. Yeah, so that they don't lose the ballot. And then we should probably use it. We have a great thing.
Second group?
Yeah, I just want to let you know when it's back.
I'm told, I'll tell you. So this is now I'm confused. This is,
That's
yes,
the
but,
end.
but does that mean that I thought that we're gonna have an end of the
Correct.
batches may have been merged here. The two batches. Don't worry. Don't worry. Kevin, is that it for now?
No, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, sir.
No, there's more?
Very quick motion though.
Okay.
It's gonna be a test on the trust of your colleagues and your review. And
Oh, yes,
obviously-
They had, our colleagues have to decide whether to accept our review of the provisionals thus far.
They want it unaccepted, they get to do it themselves.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
Okay, let's get started.
I do believe that it will take one of each party. Yeah. Hey, knock yourselves out, but I will say that if you overturn these, your reward is that you get to do it tomorrow. Because Ami and I are scheduled to continue tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
That'll be the big feat if you're the ones that you've already done.
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, but almost 3 hours.
Yeah, but tomorrow there's going to be 3 times as many.
That's what I was gonna remind
Yeah.
your colleagues that before they voted.
Yes, tomorrow there's going to be 3 times as many.
You have to-
Basically, you have to look at them. They are telling us that they're being rejected as provisional ballots for various reasons. And you have to look at them and decide whether you agree.
And when there are some, I do a random selection and David does a random selection of a few to dig into to make sure we agree with what they.
Right, we did not review every single solitary ballot in a category. But for most of them, we did review every one of them. We have to sign off on all of them. So for example, if it says that we had 6 people who voted from out of state. You can believe
And
it.
those got rejected and came to the poll.
He came to the polls, they were given a provisional ballot, they voted a provisional ballot from out of state. Because they gave an address that said DC or some other state. And it-
In the application. I need to vote. In the application.
Well, we don't know why they wanted to vote here. Because, and part of my concern is that, you know, they could be voting here because they have more than one address, in which case,
Yeah.
in which, no, but I was gonna say the different part of that, Diane, which is that they may have a house in DC and a house in Maryland. They may have a house at the beach and a house in Montgomery County.
I mean, I give you as an
Yeah.
example, ladies who have houses in DC and houses in Potomac.
Now-
I don't know where they vote.
Right, but most most voters who would do that would give their Montgomery County address for their Montgomery County ballot. But
But they should only vote where their dollars.
yes, but Diane, what is most likely to have happened is not that they voted twice, is that they voted not at all. Because if they lived in DC, came to us, and they were not told, you can't vote here, go vote in DC. They were told, sure, have a provisional ballot. Because that's what we do. Anyone who wants a provisional ballot gets a ballot. So chances are, they voted in Maryland, but didn't vote because we rejected it, and then did not vote anywhere else, in which case they didn't vote.
Don't you think when they sat down at that provisional table, they were told?
No, I do not. I think they should have been,
Yeah, thank you.
but the instructions that Maryland provides, it's not that. As you know, the instructions that Maryland provides is no arguments at the poll. So as a result, I personally, for an out-of-state ballot, I would have said to them, sorry, you're out of state. You can, if you vote here, it will not be counted. Instead, but what they are told is that the board will decide. And of course, that's a kind of a cop-out. To say, but,
Okay.
okay.
The next group that we're moving on to is all of these ballots that were arrived after 10 o'clock on the second Friday after the election. This is the mail that has occurred since then.
Right.
So those are all.
They're all untimely
rejected
by
as-
operation of law.
All right, then I move that those all be rejected as untimely.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
Okay.
Yes, those are the easy ones. And those will be added to for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
They will dribble in. People will say, what do you mean the election's not over?
Yeah, but since they don't count, they won't change any of.
They will not change the certified results. They will not change the certified results. We have on occasion learned that it is not dilatory voters, it is dilatory postal officials that have found things at the post office.
They find them in a year.
Sometimes that's true.
These people who are out of state, they didn't ask them if they have it.
I do not believe so, but I do not know the answer to that question. I would like to do that. But-
Visual application indicate that you have a plenty of.
Just to write down their address.
I don't know whether whether we say to them, do you live in Maryland, et cetera. I mean, we have voters from Prince George's who vote in Montgomery as well. We have voters from Frederick who vote in Montgomery. We have voters from Howard who vote in Montgomery.
What do they typically say? Does anybody know?
Well, I think what they usually say is, I'm here, it's my lunchtime, I want to vote. Because they work in Montgomery County,
They
but
think
they,
it's all like, it's a national thing, right?
well, some do. Some do. I mean, there's a lot of voters who do not understand that every state's rules are different for voters.
That's a problem.
It is a problem, but I mean, there's a lot of them who don't, they do not understand that. And I'm pretty sure they come in all varieties of voters, that they just aren't, it's the less attentive voters.
So this is the same thing.
No,
So, Mr. Chair and Madam Secretary spent hours reviewing these provisional ballot applications
Yeah.
and made a determination that they should be properly rejected. So the question is there a motion to accept their recommendation that they be rejected?
I move, we would.
No, Keena had her hand up first.
I don't need it.
No, I wanted to hear what Keena has to say. Maybe Keena was gonna say that she moves, that she be appointed to the committee. No, I just want to know whether you will be.
After Kevin's tone on.
It's a lot of work to review.
Mr. President,
Yes, Keena.
I move that we reject these ballots on account of they have been reviewed and previously rejected by board presidents and board secretaries.
Okay, I will just amend your motion slightly to say they have been recommended for rejection by the board president and the board secretary. We would never believe that we can do this without the approval of the rest of the board. So is there a second to Keena's motion?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hands. It is unanimous.
The good
Thank
news
you.
is you're gonna be free to watch the Commanders game at 1 o'clock.
Yay.
I will be recording that game, so no one is to tell me tomorrow afternoon anything about the game. Yeah, you know, until you've heard from me that I have watched it. If you guys call me tomorrow afternoon, no news about the game. Because I expect that I expect that I may be watching that game after dinner tomorrow. So, you know, we're gonna see.
Danny, don't bother me. Let's go and say you with your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go through all those ballots. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it'll take more than the game's time. First of all, we're gonna do it in the afternoon. We're not gonna start in the morning. But, yeah, I fully expect that it will take the whole afternoon until dinner time. You know, now, keep in mind, our staff is now, you know, they're working every Sunday. You know, I mean, they're. Yes, no, they get a lot of overtime. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean a lot of overtime in the sense that they get paid more than whatever the standard overtime is, but they work a lot of overtime. You know, and they are getting compensated for working overtime. At times like this, it's the need for overtime is very clear. There have been times in the board's history where it has appeared that there was more overtime being worked than necessarily would have been with better planning. I do not think we're in that situation now at all. But that has sometimes been an issue in the past. They are getting paid, but what they're mostly getting is tired. You know, because it just keeps going on and on and on.
So we're done until 5.
Okay, we are done until 5. Thank you, board.
I have something though I need to talk to the board about.
Oh, okay.
I have a meet. It doesn't need to be on it.
Yeah, do you want me to shut off? Okay. Guys know that is the case. Now, please save my life. If you want to okay, I have everybody else on the schedule for Monday. If anybody's Monday changes, let me know. We're looking at a full day, but I'm saying that it's quite possible that that will change. Um, so it depends on what personal balance. Or it's a full day, maybe a full day. Right. So the plan was finish Monday on Tuesday. But that also requires us to finish the position of get it all done on Monday. So I would just say, try to keep Monday as flexible and we will let you know as soon as we know. Assume normal schedule unless you hear otherwise, but I'll let you know no matter what. If it turns out that if it was Monday or Tuesday, and I understand that things going on, but if that's the case, you know, we'll keep you in the loop, but if not, just let us know. Start of what? We might even start later than that. It depends on what happens. We're not. I would give you confirmation as soon as I'm saying that by default is the same schedule. It's always easier to do the same schedule. But it's also going to depend on the staff. How much we get done. What this group got done today. All of that, figuring that out, that we are trying to. Well, you're saying you did. No, understood, because that'll affect anybody else's. Let me ask you this, if I moved it to 6, if I moved it. Monday. If instead of meeting at 5, we met at 6. Now, I don't know what the rest of the day look like yet, so it's hard for me to know. And if you had a regular day on Monday, we don't want to be there. Right? First and second. Out of here by 6. And I don't know what Monday is. No, we're not talking about when we start. We're talking about when we have our work. The start. No, I'm talking about there's 2 different things on when canvas makes things, and there's when the board makes it. Okay. Yeah. So, let me ask this question. What hours on Monday are you potentially? People let people know. So if I understand correctly. Stay until 8, Daniel can stay until 7, Tina can arrive at 6, everyone else, 3 of us are 3. We have nothing better than one. No, I understand. I think I got that. Let me see what, let me see what I can look at with the coach right now, see what I can remember, because I'm gonna forget. And, no, you should not. Why are you trying to make it harder? But you wanna finish? Okay. Would you rather be? Faced with a choice, staying late on Monday. Or finishing earlier on Monday and certifying Friday or Saturday. Which would you take? Right, okay. Yes, it is. That's the whole point. The point is that. Evan, you're getting here 5. All right, so if I have it right, for Monday, Daniel's available until 5. Until 7, until 7. Alex is available late if you have numbers on Sunday. Tina is available after 6. Kevin is available until 8. Ami, Margie, and I are available all day. Kevin is available. Well, I think. Okay. Okay. I will do my best. What we do on Monday, the sooner we can certify, I'm trying to get it to the point where we can certify. And also, I have to tell you, better get it certified. I don't believe that. I have to ask a question. Oh, would we be able to? Me and I. Introduce the different laws. I mean, when Tommy and I. But we had to do the work of. That's what I thought. Thank you, all right. That has to be good.
Yeah, there's choice. There's three different ones. There's this one, this one, and this one.
Yeah. Well, yes. In the college, if we wanted to do it over here, we have to pay for another room. When the office. So now, if I have six of, six of us working on one day, and everybody's here, Tommy and I could literally leave, go to the board, and 4 people here, and come back. That's a possibility. But that requires everyone to be here, in order for that. One thing's for sure, no 1 o'clock referral meeting. Because they cannot have the referral meeting without. Oh, I understood. Yeah. I'm glad that it came full circle. Even with all the irony. We are. Does that mean you have to have lunch? Oh my gosh. I would have chosen for her. But, No, you said you. I don't know if we're gonna have a budget, but. No one is. One. So the idea that you stay, so you have to raise your hand with the rest of us. Just get a. We appreciate it. So, now you're.
We have passed out the last piece of ballot. Whatever's on the table, that is the end of mail-in ballots. We are now gonna start with the accepted in full for the provisions.
You can get through that. I mean, I'll mark that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Either when you practice in which county. Primarily, yeah. Really? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think it's something that was something we made. But they're in order. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do that. Sorry. It's hard like. I'm taking out.
Question about the voting, did we get this? Oh, that was-
And then on this one, I mean, this one, you know, fill out, you would do it. Yeah. So, All right, that's fine. Even though it covers the outer circumference. I would give me an outrage. But I see it. It doesn't matter when it's outside it, but you've got to cover the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Never seen one.
And you know, I'm all out of 166,000 ballots. I'm never saw everything.
Right.
We write in like from zero. No, that's normal. Right. You might have, let's go ahead and do the data with the way. Right. Why don't you go find out what they're doing? These are all provisions. You can find it happen. Because he's not on. Well, no, he's not on the, they're not on the approved list. There is such a thing. Our president, there's a name, there's a list of about 20 names that have been approved. Because they've gotten sufficient number of votes to get on the ballot. Like I said, it's a DUMB. He's not on the writing list, trust me. We have people going around with more. Yeah. No. He's looking for a ballot question.
Then he came back. And they did. He did.
Very delicately Polish. Oh, they're all the same. Yeah. I mean, when I even trouble used to like, I took it over 100 at this point in the election. And right, but then they wanted to make a request, like, can you bring a bag of ranch center water? If you don't mind. So bring the entire stack of that, if you don't mind. I actually wanted to make the other. They're all these bags are like this, right? Yeah, I mean, what was it longer? It's like 32. Yeah, right. Right. But we were thinking of doing like the Highlands story. No. Right, so 101, we'll be able to do that, and then 229. Okay, and we'll come back to it. We have like this guy. This national.
Okay, so I'll bring some of these first. You get started.
Well, we can wait, yeah, we'll wait. But they're in like just the right order.
Guys, good. You look like you have a question.
Those are different things.
Okay, Kevin.
Okay, first one has no ballot.
Okay, is there a motion?
Reject this ballot on the grounds of having no ballot.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. Thank you.
Next voter has no oath, but they signed the ballot. Well, rejected for one and accepted for two.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Yes,
I
Alice.
move that reject this ballot on the grounds of identifying mark and the fact that there was no signed oath.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. Rejected for two reasons. If we look hard, maybe we'll find a third one. Not that we need more than one.
You really don't. Yes. No.
Yeah, this is an 0202, and the issue is with regard to Judge Albright. Nope, that's not it. That's all.
That's all, but.
What about Judge Arthur? Yeah.
I guess Judge Arthur is only an issue if you think it's not an overvote.
So you think it was, they stopped when they realized?
I haven't
You gotta
had-
say yes or no.
I haven't, yes, I think that's essentially what happened.
But then they
But-
went full in on the Kevin Arthur.
I didn't look. What did they do for Judge Leahy? On the back here, they voted yes for Judge Leahy with no ambiguity. Is there a motion relative to Judge Albright? Daniel,
Question.
okay, is there a second? It's been moved and seconded to this vote be counted as a yes. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
So the, duplicated, the Kevin Arthur one will have both of them.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Okay. Basketball statement. So is there, this is a no oath, is there a motion?
I think that would reject, this ballot on the grounds of having no vote.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. I did not realize that the post office has a basketball forever stamp that is a circle.
That's the first time I'm seeing.
Yeah. Have stamps ever been circles?
And
Right, right. And like I have solar eclipse stamps that are still square with a picture of the circle of the sun, but I had not seen that before. So we rejected the ballot, but we learned something new.
Your ballot.
Great. No ballot. Their motion.
President, I move that you reject this as lacking a ballot.
Their second. All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
Yeah, the runner's on it.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'm going to reject this ballot under your own, ballot.
Second. All in favor? It's unanimous.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Okay, their motion. No. No oath. Okay, their second. All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. Okay, motion.
This ballot.
Okay, second. All in favor. Whoops, it is unanimous. Kevin, is it acceptable if you say that there's no oath, if somebody just says so moved, or do you need them to say what they're moving?
You can say so moved.
Okay. We're gonna make this even faster, okay?
Voter intent.
Yeah, that one's not as fast.
Okay, issue is with regard to the office of president and for US Senate.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show this. This is what the office of president looks like, and this is what the office of US Senate looks like. Okay, oh, you haven't seen it yet. Correct. Okay, is there a motion?
President,
Alex,
I move that this ballot be counted as a vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for President of the United States and for Alfred Bush for the United States Senate.
okay, is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? It is unanimous.
It's hesitating because the canvas team didn't write down a reason for the referral. There's nothing wrong with the provisional ballot application. I would assume that they have some questions on how the voter has filled out the race for, Leahy, Board of Education at Large, Board of Education District Two, Board of Education District Four, question one and question A. I don't know that there's much of a question.
Yeah.
Are we ready for a motion? Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to count them all. I assume. Alex?
Yes, Mr. President, I move that this ballot be counted for all the votes as marked.
Okay. Is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. Thank you.
So the issue is, in this race is Board of Education at large. Board of Education District 2.
Okay. So we've got Board of Education at large. Board of Education District 2.
We had a similar, where we indicated that the write-in is the one they really wanted. Is that how you said?
Yeah, I
We
think
had
so.
something Similar.
Yeah, right. That's the way I would view it, is that they Xed out everything else and, right, and they indicated who they wanted. It's kind of the hard way.
What you all have done in the past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion? Tina,
So Board of Education at large, we will be there. It'd be for Natalie Zimmerman.
okay, so Tina has moved that it be counted as a vote for Rita Montoya and Natalie Zimmerman. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous. Okay, is there a motion? No oath. Or no oath. Is there a second? All in favor? It is unanimous. We're just gonna say so moved. On day one, I would have cared.
I doubt
I'm sure it is bad for me.
No ballot, no signature.
So moved. Okay, is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, rejected for two reasons.
No ballot.
Okay. Is there a second? All in favor, raise your hand. Rejected for no ballot.
I don't know why these came up individually. But why don't we just state them?
Well, we're getting near the end, right? We may have batches that only have one ballot in them.
But all that should come up though.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it did.
Yeah, I think
It's
it's,
only one, that's it.
yeah, it's a
No ballot.
second. Okay, all in favor? It is rejected for no ballot.
And feel how light it is, and it doesn't have. a
Right, no ballot in it. I was gonna say, I was willing to reject it without your opening it. Okay, all in favor of rejecting that? Okay, it's unanimous. You have to check in the back for more?
There's another tray back.
Oh,
there.
there's another tray, okay.
all in favor of rejecting the ballot before. It's
Well, given how thin it was,
Yeah, right.
you know. There's no way that it had a ballot in it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Let's just say I'm glad he didn't hurt himself opening that ballot because it was unnecessary. So Trump has named his agriculture secretary. His agriculture secretary. And it's a surprise pick. Her name is Brooke Rollins. And apparently she was the director of the Office of American Innovation and the acting director of the Domestic Policy Council during Trump 1. The announcement said that she grew up in an agriculture center town of Glen Rose, Texas. And she was in Future Farmers of America, her generational family farming background, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sounds like she has some agricultural experience.
We only have 97,000 praise. I don't know why we feel the need to put them all in one.
These pet peeves for the canvas, right?
Well, you know, it's one of these times I'm gonna drop it. It's gonna go all over the place.
Oh, no, he's gonna do that.
So far.
Yeah.
You know,
Stop it, it's automatic rejection.
yeah. Yes.
Okay. This is an issue in the US Senate.
Okay. Let's see what the US Senate looks like.
Over the check mark. I mean, I could see it. It's hidden back over that. Not normally, I would do that. So you can say that.
Okay, is there a motion?
President, we'll get to accept.
Okay, Daniel has moved that it be accepted as a vote for Angela also Brooks. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
Representative of Congress District 8.
Okay. Representative of Congress District 8. Yes. Okay, is there a motion?
President,
Alex,
I move that this ballot, suspect to the office of representative in Congress of Agent County with a vote for Carol White.
okay, is there a second? Any discussion? The motion is to count it as a vote for Cheryl Riley. All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous.
Question A. Yeah.
All right, is there a motion? Oh, I haven't sent it this way. I'm sorry. I apologize.
This one in?
Yes. Okay, now, is there a motion?
President?
Yes, Daniel. Okay, is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. It is unanimous, a vote against question A.
Question F.
Okay. I should. Here, this is what this one looks like. So this time I'll go this way.